Owl-Moniker here, and thank you so much for 500 subscribers. This one is a pretty big milestone for me since it's actually one of the requirements for YouTube channels when it comes to getting revenue for videos. There's other stuff that I need to get to, like view count and such, but it's a pretty big, good step. So, the thing I wanted to do for this milestone is a Q&A, since I've seen a lot of creators I like do that sort of thing when it comes to subscriber counts. And yeah, I thought it would be pretty fun. So I made a community post for questions that I would answer, and now I'm going to go through them. I'm also putting a speed paint of the works that I've made for videos in the past, in case you are ever curious about what goes into that. First question comes from a very dear friend of mine who on YouTube goes by Overly Amorous Ostrich 22, which I've always thought was a great username. Anyways, to me, the steady pace at which you are able to create reliably amazing art, in all forms, is astounding and something I am deeply envious of. Which, you sweetheart. What do you do to get yourself going, even when you might not want to, / don't have the inspiration? So, admittedly, the steady pace I had is not as consistent as it was before life events, but the fact that you commented this after that point means I feel I can still answer the question. For those new here in any way, yes, I do all the singing for my vocal covers and most of my original songs with very few exceptions. I do the composing for original songs, I write the lyrics for both the video game vocal covers and original songs, and I do the art. For a long time, music, creative writing, and visual art have been my trifecta of sorts. They're what I consider to be my main abilities. That gives enough context, right? Right. Actually answering the question though, first, the fact that I have that variety helps a ton. If I ever get burnt out on singing, it's easy enough to switch to something like writing a script for a speed paint video. If I get burnt out on art, then I just take things easy in that regard and focus on the singing and lyric writing. If I get burnt out on the writing front, then I focus on instrumental songs and art to go with them. Mind you, having a trifecta exactly like mine isn't needed, but I think one tip that has helped me a lot when it comes to burnout is to vary your abilities. You may have heard the phrase, "Jack of all trades, master of none," but the follow-up to that phrase, "better than a master of one," is important. What it comes down to is having something to fall back on. If you're a visual artist, that can mean branching out to stuff like watercolor or finger painting. Whatever the medium may be, the important thing is it's something that's more fresh and brings you some joy. Hope that makes sense. Secondly, speaking of things to fall back on, what helps with motivation is going back to basics. Now, with music, this is easy enough. Sometimes my vocal covers are just, here's the song I like. With writing, it can be short poetry and ramblings. With art, tracing, heavily referencing, genuinely. And I've actually developed a method for this that I've labeled Frankensteining, where I basically assemble small fragments of various things I like and try to combine them together. It can make for some interesting poses and environments, and it helps you recognize why you like the various fragments in the first place. And thirdly, support systems. Sometimes it's just one friend, the only one you share your work with for a while because, ugh, this looks awful, cycles through your mind. Sometimes it's a group of people who are absolutely hyped over what you do. Either way, having someone to lean on when that motivation dwindles can be huge. It regrows some of that self-belief. I guess in a way that's also in the something to fall back on category, and really, that's what it all comes down to. If you're worried about motivation and inspiration, give yourself a safety net. Because really, art of any sort is one leap of faith after another, so it's nice to know there's something to catch you if you fall. There's actually this really bad depressive spiral I fell into at the end of last year, and the second and third parts helped a ton. I had sketches I only showed one particular friend, and then a small group, and that helped me regrow some of that confidence. Though I did feel extremely pathetic at times. I basically broke down that I couldn't get stuff right. But that was really important. It helps people I care about to see, oh, this is what your mind is constantly telling you, huh? And acknowledging that sort of stuff is important to healing. I guess that's the secret fourth part. Healing. Whew. That was quite an answer, wasn't it? And we're only getting started. So the next question comes from I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Kazool or Kazirool? But, you know, very, very lovely person who has been leaving a lot of comments on my videos. Hi, I appreciate you so much. Anyways, the question is, when writing stories, do you feel something like a bond with your characters? How hard is leaving them at the end? Well, to answer the first part, yes. Oh my god, yes. I mean, several of my more long stories are incomplete or in draft phases right now. It's very much a this will happen someday sort of project. But yes, I am absolutely bonded with those characters. If you've been here a while, you might have heard me talk about some of them, but more likely, you've absolutely seen drawings of them. I find that the way to deal with missing a character after the story with them is done is just write another story. Really. That's why I have so many short stories. It's not even something you have to share, it can just be for you. A rambling. A poem. Because even if that story has ended, it doesn't mean the idea of them has. And that is everything. So to answer the question of how hard it is to leave them, I guess you could say I never really do. Or, if you prefer, they never left me. Next question comes from, again, I'm not sure how to pronounce this in a YouTube video, MHER_22. Huh. Never realized until now that 2 of my subscribers have a 22 in their username.
If I had a nickel!
How long does it normally take you to make a video? Also, I mostly know your channel for your songs and vocal covers, so what do you use to record and edit your voice? On average, it takes a few days. Really, it depends on what type of video I'm making. Combined vocal cover videos take about a day to make. It's just a matter of having time to set aside to make a video. Original song videos take longer, and that's because I'm planning out more of the details when it comes to those. I mean, some of my original songs have taken years to perfect. Then there's stuff like my original stories or rambling videos, and depending on how scripted those are, those can either take a day, a few days, or a week. As for recording software, most of the time I use GarageBand. If the recording is for a speed paint or a longer video, I tend to use VSDC. I once made the mistake of doing an hour-long rambling in GarageBand and Apple gave me so much grief for that. Never again. This next one comes from William Colgan 5647. Do we get to know what the next Negative Emotion song will be about, / release date? For those new here, I've made a series, or have been making a series called Don't Take It Personally, where I'm writing and creating songs about various negative emotions and experiences I have. It's been vastly more enjoyed than I ever thought it would be, which, you know, blows me away. But yeah, I answered it a bit, but here, have a small preview. Last question for this video comes from the very lovely Dallas Arslet, who's been regularly reacting to my videos if you want to check him out. Question is, what do you mean faster than expected? You should already be there. Your creations are too good to be any lower. Which I also gave a very grateful answer. But yeah, I said in the community post that I had reached this faster than I expected, and that was in response to that, but I am very much a person of tragic backstories that you need to be at a high enough level to unlock, so hey, here's one of them. I have so much anxiety. You may have gathered this, you may have not. In my childhood, I was never really one to sign up for performances. Stage fright very much plagued me, and in school I was kind of one of the outcasts. So my creations were more protected. To give you an idea, I was known to the school librarian as the poetry person, and she regularly called me that. I was told by my friends that I was great at telling stories. I was able to skip ahead in songs of my school's music classes because I've been playing piano since I was like 5. I won 2nd place for both music and writing projects in a yearly contest the school held. I had my art displayed at a library, and I was one of 5 people to get into an arts magnet school, and the only one in my class to get into it. I was known as creative, but not exactly in the way I am now. Of course, the thing with being in an arts magnet school is you develop yourself as an artist. I was surrounded by like-minded people who had also played piano since they were young, or had also been told by friends they were great storytellers. Everyone had varying levels of courage, but I made friends. Became one of the piano players for the school's jazz band, became a passionate student in the literary arts class. Around the same time, I started joining an online community, which introduced me to digital art. Mind you, I still had that anxiety. But I started to be a bit more public with what I created. I showed my friends the songs and stories and art I made, and when I got support for it, it helped me grow. I started hearing more, and more, and more. All these works, some of them years in the making, started reaching more and more people. So when I say we've gotten here faster than I expected, I guess I mean that a lot of the anxiety still plagues me. Years ago, if you had told me that 500 people would look at the work I do and go, hey, this is pretty cool and worth sticking around for, I would not have believed you. I wouldn't believe that a song I created would reach over 20,000 views. I wouldn't believe my original songs would become so beloved. I wouldn't believe that I'd be told that the fact that I am both a writer, musician, and an artist at my level is incredible. Even now, it's still sinking in. So thank you, folks. It really means a lot to me. And to quote one of my songs, I give all I've got, and it's sure a lot. Do pardon me if I get emotional. Hope to see you next time. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. And whether you are or not, liking this video, commenting, and sharing my videos and channel with other people really helps me out as a creator. And one more thing, a word of encouragement. I see a lot of people go, I could never do what you do. And let me just say, I once thought the same thing. This stuff is hard to make time for, as I'm sure a lot of you can tell from my unstable uploading schedule. But if you have the power to create, by the hells, create, and create for yourself. Share that self-indulgence and those things you're uncertain in. People might just surprise you. Thank you for watching.